Kubernetes 101, a hands-on guide to deploying your first K3s cluster. This podcast is brought to you by Business Compass LLC. We are an Amazon Web Services advanced consulting partner. We build and migrate workloads to Amazon Cloud. Our website is businesscompassllc.com. Our phone number is 973-638-2228. Our email address is contact@businesscompassllc.us. Introduction to K3s, a beginner-friendly Kubernetes distribution. K3s is a lightweight Kubernetes distribution designed for easy use and streamlined performance. Ideal for IoT and edge computing, K3s simplifies the deployment of Kubernetes clusters without sacrificing functionality. This podcast will walk you through deploying a K3s cluster on AWS, offering a practical approach to mastering Kubernetes. Why K3s for Kubernetes cluster deployment? Streamlined setup and production readiness. K3s are perfect for beginners and seasoned developers due to their simplified installation process and minimal resource requirements. It's designed to efficiently run production workloads, providing a fully certified Kubernetes experience without the overhead of a traditional setup. Prerequisites: preparing your application and AWS environment. Before diving into K3s deployment, ensure you have a Dockerized application ready and an AWS environment set up. Here's a quick rundown of what you need. Dockerizing your application. If you're new to Docker, refer to Docker's official documentation for a comprehensive beginner's guide. Dockerizing your application involves creating a Docker file, building your image, and pushing it to a Docker registry. Setting up AWS infrastructure, VPC, subnets, and EC2 instances. Create a VPC. Configure a virtual private cloud, VPC, with public and private subnets. Launch EC2 instances. Provision EC2 instances for your K3s master and worker nodes. Step-by-step guide, configuring the K3s master node. Easy installation with K3s script. SSH into the master node. SSHI/path/to/key.pem ec2 user at your master node public IP. Install K3s. curl sfl https://get.kes.io sh. Verifying master node status with kubectl. Retrieve K3s configuration. sudo cat/etc/rancher/kes/kes.yaml. Set up kubectl. Export kubectl =etc/rancher/kes/kes.yaml. Kubectl get nodes. Integrating worker nodes into your K3s cluster. Retrieving the master node token. Retrieve token. sudo cat/var/lib/rancher/kes/server/node token. Adding worker nodes with K3s command. SSH into each worker node. SSHI/path/to/key.pem ec2 user at your worker node public IP. Install K3s agent. curl sfl https://get.kes.io. kes_URL equals https:// your master node private IP. 6443 kes_token equals your master node token sh. Understanding Kubernetes deployment and service resources. Deploying your application, desired state and replicas. Create a deployment. API version, apps/v1. Kind, deployment. Metadata. Name, my app. Spec. Replicas, 3. Selector, match labels. App, my app. Template, metadata. Labels. App, my app. Spec, containers. Name, my app. Image, your Docker image. Ports. Container port, 80. Apply the deployment. Kubectl apply fdeployment.yaml. Exposing your application. Choosing the right service type. Create a service. API version, v1. Kind, service. Metadata. Name, my app service. Spec, selector. App, my app. Ports. Protocol, TCP. Port, 80. Target port, 80. Type, load balancer. Apply the service. Kubectl apply fservice.yaml. Load balancing user traffic with Nginx. Creating an Nginx EC2 instance. Launch an EC2 instance. Set up a new EC2 instance as your Nginx load balancer. Configuring Nginx for load balancing. Install Nginx. Sudo Amazon Linux Extras. Install Nginx 1. Configure Nginx. Sudo nano /etc. /nginx /nginx.conference. Add the following configuration. Upstream K3s_cluster. Server your worker node private IP1. Server your worker node private IP2. Server your worker node private IP3. Server. Listen 80. Location. Proxy_pass http://kes_cluster. Restart Nginx. Sudo system restart Nginx. Conclusion and next steps. Recap of your K3s cluster deployment. In this podcast, you've successfully deployed a K3s cluster on AWS, integrated worker nodes, and set up load balancing with Nginx. This foundational knowledge prepares you for more advanced Kubernetes topics and real-world applications. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Please share this podcast, visit our website, and follow our social media links.